Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got another weekly recap video for you all, just sharing some of my off-season work. This week was a bit of a pivot week. There were a couple things that had been nagging me as, I've been getting back to work, the school year started, and that's kind of just an important point to take away, is that hey, you're not going to be able to handle as much workload and you're not going to have as much work capacity whenever you add other things in your life, such as work stressors and whatnot. So those things have been stacking up a little bit, and because of that, we've pivoted some of the lifts to an extent, and I definitely benefited from backing off on some of the weight and the lift changes that we've added for this week. So here I had pause squats with the safety squat bar. Just adding those pauses in. I do like that with the safety squat bar, especially the one that I use, because it has so much whip that pausing in the bottom kind of allows me to regain that control and still put in some effort into the lift while there being less weight on the bar, and it tends to take less of a toll on my knees and low back. And then we also did Romanian deadlifts with a snatch grip. So we're back to snatch grip Romanian deadlifts with just 355 pounds. So the first day was very light for this week. Not a whole lot to say. We're also back to percentage-based training. So I have less of a say as far as what's going on the bar, and I'm just following the program more so. And then on to bench. So we switched. I've been having that shoulder discomfort for the past few weeks, and what we did to kind of react to that was to use the football bar during this day one. So I had touch and go football bar bench and touch and go football bar bench on the incline, which I've never done that before, and that kind of adds some change to the program, which I definitely enjoy. And then that rotation of the shoulders down with the neutral grip actually really felt good. I had no shoulder discomfort. Now, I started really light with both of those because one, I didn't want to test the shoulder too much, and then two, with the incline being a newer movement, I wanted to just start really light, and we'll progress that pretty quickly as I get better at the movement itself. Now, on to day 3, I had conventional deadlifts with a tempo on the negative portion. Now, starting these off really light with 315 pounds, the biggest challenge was probably holding onto the bar. I decided to use a double overhand grip just to get some grip work in while I was doing those because the weights were so light. I'm sure those weights will progress plenty quickly over time. And that's kind of the other major adjustment that we have is I'm not benching on day 3 anymore. So I'm just benching 2 days a week. The first day being with the football bar, and then the second day being on my heavy day, day 4, which you can see here. The day 4 schedule sticking pretty similar. I had 3 sets of 3 at 635 pounds. So this was just a warm-up that I'm sharing with you all. And then this coming up here is my 3rd set. Overall, these felt pretty good. I went to my girlfriend Natalie's work picnic right before this and had some fun, ate way too many calories, but therefore it was later in the day that I was training, so definitely a little bit more tired, but I'm used to training like this during the week, so it didn't affect me too much. And as far as the bar speed goes, I was pretty happy with this. So this is a good starting point to continue progression over the next, several weeks and months with this pivot. So I'm hoping that we could push this up into the 7s for triples not too long from now. And I think that's well within reach, looking at how these moved and kind of just how I'm feeling with work in general. Once my body adapts to some of that extra fatigue, then I'll be good. Okay, bench. So this was the biggest question mark of the week, being a little tentative because of my shoulder. Like I said, I had 0 shoulder issues with the football bar bench. So that was a smart pivot. And then my normal second day of benching was taken out, so had some extra rest. Now, I will say there was a tiny bit of just like achiness even warming up through these benches. So like it was still there. And like I think I've said before, it reminds me of it feels kind of like a tendonitis or a bursitis of some sort in my shoulder. So structurally, I don't think it's an issue. I think it's just a soreness. Now, I worked up to 425 pounds as my top single here. This was supposed to be an RPE 8, and I feel like I pretty well nailed it. You'll notice I'm a little bit tentative on the descent, a little bit slower than normal, but otherwise it moves pretty well, and it's certainly an RPE 8, if not a little less. And then I backed off with 365 pounds for 3 sets of 4. Now, I definitely could have gone heavier. You'll notice that, the RPE was quite low for these, probably RPE 6 or so, but I didn't want to test the shoulder just yet. This leaves some room for progression in the coming weeks, and I do like to do that, kind of just play it safe and get the ball rolling. So I think after a couple of weeks of this new bench training, my shoulder should be 100% good to go. I don't see why it would continue to bother me with this schedule. And then we closed off the week with 4 sets of 8 with 545 pounds. So this was a bit of a back down from last week where I hit 585 pounds for these sets. But it was definitely a welcome deload, and then that'll allow us to continue the march forward from here. And I really felt like these were solid sets of 8, not too difficult. If I had to rate them, probably an RPE 6-ish. So nice and fast, and hopefully I can build up a big deadlift because we're going to need it for nationals. So that does it for this week. Overall, I would say it was a good week of training, just getting back into the groove and dealing with some of that school fatigue, but having a good time as always. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, happy lifting.